Hi there everyone, GuardianE here, and welcome to another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes. And tonight we are getting the reveal of Summer Part 2 for 2022, and we've got the silhouettes pulled up here that they did tease us with just yesterday, I think. So, on the right there is clearly Nifl. You can even see, like, the icy... On the right there is clearly Nifl. You can see her little ears and I think would be the little kind of frost mist surrounding her as well. On the left side, I feel like that really could be anybody. It kind of looks like male Corrin to me, but honestly, that's kind of a shot in the dark. So we'll see. I would suspect that Muspel will probably also get a summer version in this banner if Nifl's going to get one. And then we'll see what else they have in store for us. So I've got the trailer pulled up here, haven't looked at the thumbnail, haven't looked at the title. We'll watch it together first raw for the first time, and then we'll take another look at the banner as a whole to see if this is a banner or units that I think are worth pulling for. So let's get started. Alright, let us get this show on the road. Alright. Whew. Replenishing tropical hues. Special heroes to battle. Okay. Oh, Beach Restorer? Is that Eirika? That is Eirika.
It was hard to select just one.
Huh.
The sand is so hot.
It's interesting. That quote sounds almost exactly like Tana's, right? It's very similar.
What fun.
It's very old school art. I mean, it is Wada Sachiko, but it feels like I kind of called back to an older style a little bit, you know? Okay, so there is Nifl, Tropical Ice God. We all saw this coming.
The sun here.
Ah,
I will surely melt.
that's quite an outfit. She's like in basically a trench coat and a hat. I guess if she is an ice god, she doesn't want to be exposed to the sun.
Presumptuous.
And it does look like she has a little frosty treat on her head that is pretty cute. Who is this going to be? Oh, it's Lyon. Okay, Sunlit Prince. So he was who I thought could have potentially been Corrin, but he is wielding that coral sword. He is going to be infantry sword unit, I see. And he is going to be the 4-star special unit of the banner, the 4-star focus unit of the banner. He's got a lull skill on him, which is certainly promising. And then here we are. Who is rounding it out? Oh, this is Sun-Kissed Gods! Oh, it's Thorr and Loki!
It is merely a beach. Always the stick in the mud.
Oh, that's amazing! They look so good! Loki has a guitar, and Thorr has a fan. They are a flyer, a flying blue tome unit. Love that animation. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, duo skill, of course. Inflicts gravity in cardinal directions. We'll take a closer look at all that stuff.
See how they do it.
So I was way off. I thought we were going to get a Summer Muspel. They opted to not go that route, which, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I'm totally okay with, because I don't really like Muspel that much. So, and I definitely like Thorr and Loki, and they look so good. Alright. Awesome. Taken by the Tide, paralogue story. Oh, they both have kind of a haughty look. That's so good. And then who was that? Hold on. I'm not sure who that Cavalry Axe unit is. It could be Seth, so we could be getting a Summer Seth. I'm not entirely sure, but of course it is, in the in-game notifications at this point if you do log in. But we're not looking at that because this is a raw reaction. So let's go back here. So starting on the 7th of July and extending for essentially an entire month, Lyon is confirmed, of course, to be the 4-star focus unit of the banner, and it is even color distribution across all of them. So without even taking a closer look at the units and their art, I can tell you right out of the gate that I am going to be going in for the duo, if not potentially sparking for them. Considering my luck lately, I think that that's probably what's going to have to happen, because I can't get focus units unless I spark for them these days, but we'll just have to see. It's an interesting selection. Like I said, Nifl we knew was coming. I figured we were going to get another OC, but I thought that might be Muspel. But yeah, Okay, well, let's take a closer look at the units and their art, shall we? So first up, we do have Summer Eirika as a green tome flyer. Kira Buckland reprising her role, and Wada Sachiko doing the art. Like I said, it feels like kind of an older school style for Wada Sachiko, and I think it fits her really well. I think kind of the harsh lines and the rougher shading in general is sort of what gives me that vibe. She has a gentle expression, has that bright, vibrant red flower in her hair, as well as adorning the top. Yellow ruffles throughout, although I will say that the yellow ruffles do kind of obscure the rest of her swimsuit. They feel like a little too pronounced, maybe. She does have that big swimming tube to her side that looks like it has a big ribbon on it. But yeah, I think the art is very cute, very fitting for Eirika. It doesn't necessarily stop me in my tracks. It's not like a total stunner in the art department. Wada Sachiko has done some really excellent art for Eirika, including the Brave variant. This one's a little bit on the simpler side of things, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it doesn't like blow me away. So she's got the Caring Conch. It's a 14 mic green tome, has a killer slaying effect. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 space of an ally, gets +5 to all stats during combat, neutralizes effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks, and inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack, and also after combat, if unit attacked, inflicts guard on target and foes within 2 spaces of target. Okay. Alright, well that is a nice combination of things to bolster her offensive capability, allowing her to double unhindered, inflicting guard on the enemy, and also has that built-in utility of the guard and the special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack. So a solid set of things built into that tome. Luna for the special, steady impact for the A slot, that's going to be very good for her. Boost to speed and defense, and preventing follow-up attacks against her. Moonlit Bangle F has built-in Kanto 1. Interesting, okay. Neutralize effects that inflict special cooldown charge -X on unit during combat. Special deals damage equal to X% of foe's defense when special triggers. So that is, of course, Eirika's own unique skill, Kanto 1, meaning that even as a ranged unit, she will always have Kanto at the end of her attack, no matter how many spaces she's already moved that turn. So it also neutralizes any effects that prevents her from gaining special charge, and then she gets a boost to her special damage based upon her foe's defense by a factor of X%, and that X% is the cooldown. So if we take Luna for example, it would be X is 3 times 10, which would be 30, plus 20, which is 50. So you're talking about 50% of foe's defense when special triggers. That's pretty interesting because Moonlit Bangle F scales off of the enemy's defense, whereas she's obviously targeting the enemy's res. So it's kind of, honestly, it kind of lets her play both sides of the coin a little bit, because obviously she's attacking into the enemy's res, but she's going to get boosted damage based upon the enemy's defense as well. So that's kind of unique. Attack speed Oath 4 at start of turn. If unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants +6 to attack and speed, and the following status to unit for 1 turn. Unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally within 2 spaces. If unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +3 to unit during combat. Wow, that is quite an upgrade for the Oath skills in general. Not only is that condition exceedingly easy, that allows her to have movement teleportation shenanigans, and then further get an in-combat buff, in addition to the activated buff. Wow, Oath skills just became a premium C-slot skill for sure. That's actually exceptional. So, yeah, she's got a great kit overall. I mean, she's got a lot of power and utility built behind that tome. That unique B-slot skill is really going to just bolster her effectiveness in general. And then she's got a set of premium skills. Even the impact skill is very strong. And then the Oath 4 skill is exceedingly good. So yeah, Eirika has a lot of good things going for her here. We'll see her attacking animation here. She looks so cheerful. Looks like she's really enjoying herself. I do like kind of the ethereal quality of the waves around her. They're really glowing. You do get a sense of that lighting, especially with the darkened background. And you do have that conch. I kind of missed what it was because I saw the coral growing out of it. I didn't see that it was a full shell. So that is her weapon, and she's actually inside of her little pool or water tube there. So quite cute.
What fun!
And then there is that. And she says, "What fun." I think that's also a quote from Summer Tana. So I think they purposefully gave them like similar quotes, which I think is a nice touch. It's really cool. Okay, so here is Nifl as a cavalry colorless dragon unit. Certainly I think probably a winner for the most covered up summer unit in all of Fire Emblem Heroes. It is appropriate because she is an ice dragon. Certainly she wants to stay away from the sun. I do like how she looks appropriately gloomy, especially with the wide brim hat. Honestly, she's almost blobbish with how the sort of the hooded trench coat kind of like hangs off of her, almost like a smock. The ice treat next to her is really, really cute. Looks like a little Frosty with a smiley face, so that is quite adorable. She certainly has some nice blue accents, both in the flower and the hat, as well as the stripes and the lining. You do get a hint of her blue swimsuit on the side, because there is a slit on the hip there. I do wonder, in her damage art, you might get a better view of her swimsuit in general, but as it currently stands, you don't really get to see a whole heck of a lot. I mean, at the very least, they could have made the trench a little bit more translucent, maybe, but yeah, right now she's pretty bundled up. But she's got some nice shoes that complement the entire attire as well. So Nifl is a colorless dragon, and her weapon is going to be Chilled Breath, 16 might, killer slaying effect. Unit is initiating combat or within 2 spaces, grants +6 to attack and speed to unit during combat, neutralize effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks, and prevent units' follow-up attacks. And also, if unit speed is greater than or equal to foe speed +5, foe cannot counterattack. And then adaptive damage. Dang, that's a lot of good stuff. I mean, similar to Eirika, the killer slaying effect, and then the very easy condition of being within 2 spaces of an ally, or initiating combat, she gets the stat boost, neutralizing guaranteed follow-up attacks from the foe and preventing her follow-up attacks, meaning that she can follow up unhindered. Based upon the reading of the skill description as well as the rest of her kit, it does look like she's going to have some notable speed, so she will probably naturally double a lot of units out there. And then there is also a speed check for foe cannot counterattack. So then she does have like a sweep built in, as long as she does meet the speed threshold. So that's all very good stuff. It's all very good stuff, setting her up to be an extremely potent offensive powerhouse that is going to be able to sweep in with the extended range of being a cavalry unit, and enjoying all of those boosts. Glimmer for the special. Attack speed catch 4 is a perfect fit for that, of course, as well. Speed res near trace 3 for the B slot. Enables Kanto remainder +1. Inflicts speed res -3 on foe during combat. I'm actually surprised. I didn't realize we had not gotten speed res near trace 3 yet, but that is of course another natural skill within that tree. And then Domain of Ice grants +4 to speed and res, and effect reduces damage from foes' first attack by 30% to allies within 2 spaces during combat, and if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants speed res +4 to unit and reduces damage from foes' first attack by 30%. So she does maintain her own unique C-slot skill for her summer version. Domain of Ice is actually pretty coveted. It's a pretty valuable skill to be able to bestow that damage reduction on allies. Doesn't necessarily fit in with the rest of her kit here. The rest of her kit is really more offensive oriented, geared towards boosting speed to prevent counterattacks in general, but having that built-in utility also just opens up versatility of the unit as a whole. So she's gonna be potent, as potent as the original version of Nifl, especially since she does have the Domain of Ice and really is kind of decked out as an offensive powerhouse when she goes in there to player phase and take out the enemy. So she is going to have that utility and team synergy to be able to help stack some damage reduction, things to that effect. And then she's going to be super potent offensively as long as you're boosting up that speed in relation to her opponent. So really, really strong stuff. See her attacking art here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so her code does open up in her attacking and special art. So yeah, so it does open up. You do get an actual glimpse of her bikini here. So that's quite nice. Certainly very nicely matching with the white and the blue. You do get a look at the lining of the coat with the white and blue stripes as well, and the snowflake motif on the top that is mirrored on the actual coat as well. The overall frost effect is really cool. I do like the ice and kind of snow at the bottom there, and I also like how her icy treat has a little anger vein and is flush red, so looks like it's getting serious here. So that's quite cute. And then I do enjoy the fact that she has the treat on her head in her dragon form. So Lyon is going to be an infantry sword unit, and I actually think he has some really great art here. He does have an air of sort of grace and refinement to him. He has the kind of symmetrical headdress of flowers. He has one in his outstretched palm or hand. He has a light lavender shawl with a tribal pattern at the top. Has that really cool looking coral sword like I was talking about. And of course his trunks do match with the rest of his hair, as well as the lining of the shawl as well. I think he looks good. I especially like the shading on his hair and the fabric of the shawl and his trunks. So as previously mentioned, Lyon is going to be the 4-star focus unit of the banner. Does not look like he was able to get his own unique weapon like Claude did in the last summer banner, but let's just see what Coral Saber does. So 14 might. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack defense +5 to unit during combat, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. That's actually really good for an inheritable sword. Super easy condition, guaranteed follow-up attack built into the weapon is a very strong effect, and then getting a stat boost on top of that. I could definitely see that having a lot of use for inheriting purposes. So yeah, no, that's a good one for sure. Moonbow for the special, attack defense ideal 3 at start of combat if unit's HP is 100%, or if bonus is active, grants attack defense +5 to unit during combat. Not really the most remarkable A-slot skill, but it is a stepping stone skill, so that you can get attack defense ideal 4 on a unit by using Lyon as fodder to get there. Lull attack defense 3 for the B slot, attack defense -3 on foe, neutralizes foes' bonuses to attack and defense during combat. So he is going to be an easy source of lull attack defense 3. That's not bad. Lull attack defense, the lull skills in general, I think, are quite good for the B slot. So having easy access to one of those, certainly not a bad thing. So, you know, Lyon's not incredible, but he's got some good inheritable stuff here. And he's probably going to be a pretty good merge project if if you're a fan of Lyon and you would like to build him up. A really beautiful special art here. I love the water effect that swirls around him, as well as kind of the spiral of the water around the coral sword too. I really like the momentum of the shawl flipping up like a cape, and that does give you a better look at his swimming trunks and his outfit. You do have the kind of transparent or translucent yellow cloth hanging off of his hip as well. That also adds that sense of movement and mobility and momentum to the entire thing. There's like a starfish, as well as some flowers and fish, all kind of swirling along with the rest of the water effect. So it's really nice. And next we have the gorgeous and powerful sisterly duo of Thorr and Loki. Love to see them. I'm super thrilled that they both have a summer version all together in this one unit. That is great. They are going to be a flying blue tome unit. They both have this air of grace, confidence, and defiance. They just kind of exude this. Naturally, they complement each other very well. They've adapted and adopted their color palettes from their original forms. You know, you have Thorr with the kind of shimmering pearl white cloth that comprises her swimsuit. And then you have Loki that has the shiny purple, violet, black outfit. Lots of really fancy accessories, from the flowers to the seashells in the hair, the wide-brimmed hat for Loki there. You have some gold trimming on Loki's swimsuit as well. It looks like Thorr is brandishing that folding fan with a sort of a water pattern on it, whereas Loki has that string instrument with her as well. So maybe they're going to be a musical duet where Loki plays and Thorr sings and dances. I don't know. We'll see a little bit more of that in the animation, but I think they look absolutely lovely together. I have a sneaking suspicion that this art is actually censored for the trailer with that water splash. I'm thinking that's probably not part of the original art, and we will get the full glory of it in the game when the actual banner releases. But yeah, I think they look fantastic. So they are going to have their own unique weapon. It's a blue tome, Divine Whimsy, 14 might. Killer Slaying effect at start of turn inflicts exposure and stall on foes on the enemy team with the lowest speed and any foes within 2 spaces of those foes through their next actions. And also, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants special cooldown count -1 to unit. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack +6 to unit and inflicts attack -6 on foe during combat. Exposure. Foes' attacks deal +10 damage. So we have our first sort of weaken effect. So you have, of course, the debuffs that the stat debuffs that an enemy could suffer with the red text within their stat line. Now, this is going to be an actual effect on the enemy, and it's going to be a weaken effect, so that they actually take more damage per attack. which is a pretty potent effect in general, and it's also not going to be reduced by something like panic, so it's going to be separate and distinct from that. So that's actually pretty potent. Now, the weapon also inflicts stall, and it feels like it's a little bit of an afterthought, which I'm totally okay with, because I think stall is very situational. As a debuff, it's specifically targeting units that have increased mobility, which is certainly a big nuisance. I think there are enough units out there that that provide that effect, that it does warrant some sort of a countermeasure, but it's certainly not enough to hold its own. So I like the fact that she has they have exposure as kind of the main driving force as the debuff behind the weapon, and then stall is also an additional utility element to it that will prevent any increased movement shenanigans, which is particularly prevalent in certain game modes that are, a big nuisance. So at start of a turn, inflicts that on foes on the enemy team with the lowest speed and any foes within 2 spaces of those foes. I'm not in love with the lowest speed qualifier. Now, the nice thing is that it's full screen, so it's across the entire map, and then it just picks the unit on the enemy team with the lowest speed. And if that's all it did, I would say that this skill sucks. But it doesn't. It inflicts it on that enemy and any foes within 2 spaces of that foe through their next action. So that actually, it's a pretty wide area of effect on the enemy map. I don't like the fact that you don't have a ton of control over the target for this particular effect of her weapon. I don't love that aspect to it. But I do like the fact that it's a pretty wide area of effect, and if need be, you could likely manipulate the AI to take advantage of it against particular enemies out there. So I definitely like those aspects of the weapon. Granting special cooldown count -1 to unit is also very good. And then, granting +6 and -6 attack to the foe. If the unit has a specific HP threshold, that's also quite solid. Blazing Thunder for the special. So they are going to have an AoE special. I feel like it's been a hot minute since we've had a unit with an AoE special, aside from Lelina, who has her own unique AoE special. I feel like we just haven't seen a lot of AoE specials out there. Stillwater 4 for the A slot, grants attack res +7, inflicts defense -5. That's not bad, especially if defense is their throwaway stat. +7 to attack and res, irrespective of turn order or enemy phase, player phase, all that good stuff. They're going to enjoy that. Attack res far trace 3. Enables Kanto Remainder, inflicts attack res -3 on foe during combat. Obviously, Kanto is going to be very, very strong on them. And then Worldbreaker, they are going to have the Thorr C-slot skill, grants special cooldown charge +1 per attack during combat to unit and allies within 2 spaces. This is an incredible C-slot skill, and the fact that they have this carried over is going to be very, very strong and very, very useful for teams. So they've got a lot of great stuff and a lot of uniqueness to them. I like that aspect to it. I'm sure this isn't the last time we're going to see this exposure effect, but it's certainly the first time. And that stall effect, I'm not going to dismiss it. I mean, I think it's going to be very useful, and I like the fact that it's kind of just tacked on there, because there are definitely going to be instances where that comes in handy overall, and they've just got like a host of other really, really great stuff. Again, don't love the fact that it's specifically targeting a unit on the enemy side that you don't have a control over that target, because it's just going to be the one with the lowest speed. But that being said, I do like the fact that it is an area of effect, lots of useful stuff in there, and they are also just going to come with a plethora of other really useful offensive capabilities and buffs and debuffs attached to the Divine Whimsy, in addition to having that Worldbreaker utility. So overall, really great stuff. Here is their attacking art. They look fantastic. It looks like they're kind of dancing in tandem with each other. Backside view of Loki, and then you have Thorr right up front. Really, really beautiful stuff. You do get a better view of the gold lining in Thor's swimsuit. Really, really attractive, and of course really does match with her original outfit. I gotta say that some of the flower placement feels a little bit too obstructive here, and really oddly placed too. Like, obviously the flowers on Thor's bust doesn't really make sense. Like, why would flowers be there? They're not really attached to anything. They're just kind of floating to cover her cleavage. And then, of course, on Loki's backside, you have some of the pink flowers there, too. I'm almost wondering if this is edited art specifically for the trailer. I mean, it could be that they edited the art for the final in-game version, too, which would be a shame. But, I don't know. I get that because it just looks a little odd. Obviously, they look magnificent. I'm just saying it looks like they kind of, like, pasted flowers on to cover them up a little bit, which is odd. Again, they might have just done that for YouTube and the trailer. I'm not entirely sure, but I guess we'll see when the actual update hits. So here is their... Love the musical notes and then the blast. Really cool attacking animation. I think that's great. And then their duo skill inflicts gravity on foes in cardinal directions of unit, neutralizes any bonus active on foes within 5 rows or 5 columns centered on unit, does not neutralize stat bonuses of foes inflicted with panic. Okay, alright. You know, whenever you're able to inflict gravity from a distance like this, it's always a pretty powerful skill. And that is sort of a part of Loki's ability that they kind of built into this skill. So I do like that kind of, that flavor to it. Certainly not earth-shattering or breaking any ground here, but it's definitely going to be useful overall for the unit. I do like the fact that even if the stall doesn't pan out with the weapon, you can just push your own gravity with the duo skill, so that's actually pretty nice. Neutralizing any bonus active on the foes within 5 rows and columns, that's a huge area. That's like an absolutely enormous area, so being able to just kind of openly neutralize any bonuses within that range is actually pretty good. I think the fact that the range is so huge is what makes it a good effect. Otherwise, it wouldn't really be that special. So yeah, like I said, doesn't blow me away. Also doesn't really synergize like completely with their kit other than the whole stall versus gravity thing. But I do think, look at that range, it's enormous. It's absolutely huge. Alright, there we go, and then they get that neutralizing and the stall and everything else. Excellent. And then there's their attacking art once again. Yeah, so very, very nice. Alright, so I just wanted to take a quick look at the Overseas Memories trailer because I remembered that Summer Byleth and Summer Rhea, their art was censored in the trailers. As you can see here, it has all these water effects covering them up. And I was wondering if they also went ahead and censored the attacking art. So if we take a look here, it looks like they just didn't play the attacking art at all. So... yeah. But they didn't cover up the art here in the story splash, but they did cover it up here, so I don't know what to believe. So maybe the art that's in the trailer is actually going to be the final art in the game, which I think is actually a little unfortunate because it does look... again, it looks artificially and obtrusively covered up from what the artist originally created, at least. But yeah, that aside, I am excited for this banner. I think the Duo unit has a lot of interesting, unique things to offer. The new debuff that they have, as well as the stall, as well as the gravity from a range, interesting debuffs, offensive capabilities, support from the Worldbreaker. In fact, all 3 of the units that are not the 4-star special unit have their own unique skills, such as the Bangle for Eirika, as well as the Domain of Ice for Nifl. So that alone gives them a lot of value in terms of what they offer. And I do think that Eirika and Nifl are also very, very strong. Lyon has some decent stuff, especially in the form of the Lull skill, but he's also an infantry sword unit, which is a very, very congested pool. So, and his weapon is also very good. So from a fodder perspective, I think he's got a lot going for him, but just nothing like terribly unique. Whereas the other ones do have that to offer. I myself am going to be summoning for the Duo unit hands down, so we will certainly be putting out a summon video when this banner drops. But let me know in the comments below if you're excited for this banner, who you're going to be summoning for, if anybody, if this has changed your plans for who you're going to be saving for or summoning for down the road, or if you're going to go back to Summer Banner 1, what have you. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.